Hi guys, good evening. Me again. I know it's like my third video of the night. I promise you this is my last one. Yeah, this will be my last one for tonight. Welcome back to another video here on the EdWord, where in tonight's video I wanted to share my thoughts and feelings on something that dropped, I think this was a few weeks ago this story first broke. I don't know how this slipped my mind or fell off my radar, but after thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I enjoy both versions of this movie, and I'm pretty excited that there's another remake on the way, so I thought I would talk about it in this video. I'm here to talk about the story that broke a few weeks ago that filmmaker David Bruckner, who recently did the fairly well-received Hellraiser remake, reboot, sequel. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I just know it was quite well received. He did that movie and is now going to be writing and directing a remake for the classic horror sci-fi film, The Blob. The movie first came out in 1958, and then 30 years later, in 1988, got a super 80s remake. That was awesome. Both movies are awesome. You know, it toes the line between horror, sci-fi, and creature feature, because the sci-fi element comes from the fact that, you know, an asteroid crashes to Earth. There's a small ball of goop, and then the goop gets bigger the more people it eats and consumes, and it's like a ravenous alien life form, thus the sci-fi elements of it. And then it's a lot like a creature feature in which a small community is terrorized by a ravenous man-eating monster, and it picks them off one by one, and there's seemingly no stopping it. So The Blob first came out in 1958 with Steve McQueen in his first starring role, pretty much kicked off his career. Then 30 years later, we got the remake from 1988, and it was quite entertaining, quite good. The last time I heard anything about a remake for this movie, for The Blob, was almost 10 years ago. Maybe less than 10 years ago. Like back in 2015. Last time I heard anything about a remake for The Blob, Samuel Jackson was attached to it. I don't know in what role or capacity, but apparently he was attached to star in a remake of The Blob at one point. Clearly, I don't believe that's the case anymore, but that was the last time I heard any kind of news regarding a Blob remake. This, however, seems a bit more substantiated, this story that I'm reporting on, because it says David Bruckner writing and directing a remake of horror classic The Blob. And, it lists a couple of his credits, and of all his credits, the only movie of his I have seen, and I liked it, was The Ritual, Netflix horror movie from about 5-6 years ago. It was pretty good. So he's writing and directing it. Plot details about the reimagining are being kept under wraps, and it mentions a couple of big names who are producing it. David Goyer, the screenwriter, and Kevin Levine of Phantom 4 are attached to produce David Bruckner's fresh new take on The Blob, with Judith Harris serving as executive producer. I'm reading this off of the Bloody Disgusting article that first dropped a few weeks ago when the story first broke. So I'm very excited about this. You guys know me, I love a good creature feature or horror sci-fi movie, and this movie definitely falls into, I think, both categories. So I'm very excited about it, as I hope you guys are as well. What do you hope to see in this remake? Do you want it to see take place in modern times? Should it take place in 1958 again, or 1988 instead? Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments section, because I'm very curious to know what everybody thinks and feels about this, because I feel like, franchise isn't the right word for this movie, because technically there's the original and there's the remake, and the remake was by no means a sequel or a prequel or nothing like that. It was a straight up remake that happened 30 years later. It didn't get a whole lot of love and recognition like it deserved back then, but I feel like over time, like a lot of cult classics or a lot of beloved movies, it's finally gotten the love and recognition that it should have gotten when it first came out. So people appreciate and enjoy it and understand it a lot more now. And I think the same can be said about the original. Actually, the original was a pretty big box office hit, as I recall. But it was probably regarded with the same, oh, it's just another monster movie. Oh, la 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 la. But I don't think that's the attitude anymore because people love monster movies. I mean, at least I do. So I'm very excited about this. Again, I don't know how this slipped my mind or fell off my radar when it first broke about 2-3 weeks ago, but I decided to do a video on it anyway just to express my enthusiasm and desire to see it. I just hope we see it sooner rather than later because, frankly, we've had several remakes announced within the past 5 or 6 years that still have yet to see the light of day. Arachnophobia, Anaconda, movies that were announced 5-6 years ago, if not less amount of time than that still have not come to any fruition. So when will we actually see this movie? Who the hell knows? But only time will tell, and we'll see it when we see it. So if I hear any more updates, I will definitely let you guys know. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your night. The Blob is currently streaming on multiple platforms, both versions, so enjoy. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks again for watching, and of course, until next time, what's your favorite scary movie?